G'day guys and welcome. My name's Michael and I am the Dead Aussie Gamer, here to share with you my tips, tricks, ideas and strategies for playing and running tabletop role-playing games. Today's video, making your team fantastic. Now, we build teams in role-playing games that set out on epic quests, and the one big thing that we all need to have in order to be a team is to be on that same journey together, to basically have everyone invested in the completion and success of the team and its task. However, there's some ways that you can use to build great lines of communication and great roleplay between these characters. In order to do so, you need to look at your relationship with each of the members of the group. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. There is no better group for this example than none other than the famous Fantastic Four. The Fantastic Four, the first family, literally showcase a whole bunch of different relationships that create a positive, viable, and working team that you can use and integrate into your campaigns. For example, the connection with husband and wife between the Invisible Woman and Mr. Fantastic is a great example of a relationship that not only has the good side with obviously their love and their marriage, but also the rough side as well, as Mr. Fantastic competes with keeping his business separate from his personal life. We then also see characters like Johnny Storm, who is of course the younger sibling to Sue Storm, and you can see their relationship there as a brotherly sister type thing, along with the kind of student aspect that he has with Mr. Fantastic. Unlike Mr. Fantastic, who is very intelligent, very smart, you watch as that intelligence supports the team while Johnny supports it in terms of firepower. Now, these relationships and more are the best examples of how you can use that kind of build to create and use relationships to solidify and make your team awesome. How do we do this? Well, first of all, you need to realize that you can't connect to everyone in the group. Every person that you try to create a meaningful relationship with divvies up how much attention you can actually provide to that relationship. If you try to make friends and have a complicated relationship with 4 other people at the table, then that's what you're gonna be doing. You're gonna be dividing yourself in that many pieces. Instead, I recommend always find one person to really latch onto and try to find a secondary person to latch onto when that person is not around or that person's exploring a different relationship. And when you've got these two things, that's how you end up creating this really, really strong semblance of a relationship. Now, from there, you've got 2 primary types of relationships. You have a personal relationship where you might be related to someone, you might have a personal investment with someone, and of course, you might also have a romantic relationship. Alternatively, the other side is the professional relationship where you might have a business acumen where you've got a contract. A good example of this would be, say, Bilbo Baggins, where he went along with the company of Thorin Oakenshield based on a contract. You might have players who go, yeah, I'm going to go work with you guys because you will pay me money. Whichever you decide, understand that there can be a line that is drawn between the two, but you need to pick a primary. So, for example, let's say that you've signed on to the group for money. And what's happened is you've come across a group of adventurers and you've fallen in love with one of the other players, or one of the other characters, should I say. You can fall in love with players. Players are fine. We're okay. We don't smell that much. Yeah. Well, other people don't. So you can have that relationship where it's your character is there for money, but at the same time, you like this person. And what that means is that if you value the professional side more, it means that money isn't going to keep you here. But if you depend on that personal relationship more, that means that money might not motivate you, and it's actually slowly becoming this other character that motivates you. So you need to build that, relationship. How do you want to build it? You've got, you've got relationships through family, so brothers, sisters, parents, whatever. Partners, as in married in a relationship or, just in a regular relationship. Students and teachers, one of a mentor and someone being guided. That's another great one. Old friends, so someone who's got a long and sordid history, one that obviously has had its ups and downs, but have had these characters emerge better understanding of each other. One of a protector, somebody who wants to look after another member of the group specifically in order to try and show forms of affection and build that relationship. And of course, rivals. Now, rivals are pretty tricky because they obviously require you to be at odds in some way. But you've got to remember that if you are rivals with someone, try and keep it positive. Push each other further by competing to do things better. A great example of this was Legolas and Gimli, where they were counting how many people or how many orcs they would kill, and that was a way to drive them both forward and do better together. Once you've decided on what kind of relationship you want to have, you want to talk, communicate with the other player, and get to know what they're after as well. Once you both kind of find some middle ground that you like, then you have the relationship to build on. You then need to look at what you are building as either a positive or a negative relationship for the whole team, right? Now, some relationships can be toxic and they can break things apart. For example, a rivalry between a paladin and a rogue, a very classic, a very timeless D&D scenario in which a paladin, who is all about law and order and stuff like that, disapproves of the rogue. Now, if, for example, the rogue is doing stuff that the party doesn't like, which as many rogues do, not all, but many, then it comes down to the rogue to make sure that he maintains a positive relationship. I am going to go and steal some jewels from the person who has employed us. Okay, why are you going to do that? Well, because we need more money for the group. It's like, do you need more money for the group, or are you just doing this thing to provoke something? This is the Rocket Raccoon scenario, where, I'm not going to spoil stuff, but if you get the reference, then you get the reference. But if it's negative, avoid that. Instead, go, all right, I'm not going to steal from the mayor, because that's an important person, but I'm going to find a rube, someone who looks particularly wealthy, and I'm going to rob this person. This way, not only do you still get to do your stuff and compete with the paladin, who's probably going to try and thwart you, you also start to push yourselves into trying to do something positive. If the rogue succeeds and steals stuff, he has money. And it is important that that money gets sent back into the group. The paladin changes that pace, where it now becomes all right, I have a duty to make sure that the rogue is kept in check. How do I keep the rogue in check? If you have to steal stuff from someone, there is a noble who has been embezzling money from the people. Go steal that person's money. I'm not going to turn a blind eye. I'm then going to distribute whatever portions of the money that I get from what you give us to the rest of the people, to return it to the people, because that's where the money should go. This way, even though they don't like each other, even though they're kind of opposed to each other, there is cohesion that allows them to work as a team and allows them to direct each other and push each other forward. That's the important part of having a positive relationship. Negative relationships are always going to fail. They're destined to fail. If you are interested in only your character's self-gratification, or if you are interested at not really minding whether or not the group lives or dies or succeeds or fails or stays together or breaks apart, then of course it's going to break apart. If you can look at a scenario and say, this is negative for the other members of the group, but positive for me, I highly recommend. That's not a relationship you want to be building, or that's not a relationship you want to be focusing on. Another example of it, just super, super quick, is let's take the husband and wife scenario. I once played a game with two dwarves who were in a marriage that was very toxic. They were role-playing that they were a disgruntled married couple, and they would constantly be bickering and arguing. This bickering and arguing led to us getting caught in battle a whole bunch of times. The healer, sort of threatening and in some cases following through with not healing our primary fighter, which of course then caused many, many problems. And it just ended up dragging the group down. It wasn't positively influencing the team. And that was one of the things that I turned around to them and I said, hey guys, listen, I love the fact that you guys have this really great role play. I love the bickering and bantering between the two, but you need to keep the ball rolling forward. You can't be dragging us back. We can't be pulling you guys along just so that you can have that role play experience. All right, so that's my 2 cents on it. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And if you did, please, of course, as always, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Let us know some of the relationships that you have had at your table with your various characters and inter-party relationships. And of course, go check all of our stuff out in the description below. We've got our Discord page where you can come say hi to me. Just make sure to put the @DeadAussieGamer so I can see it. And then, of course, if you want to support the Dead Aussie Gamer, head on over to our Patreon page, where for as little as a cup of coffee a month, you can help keep the lights on and keep me making videos and doing a whole bunch of other cool stuff in 2020. Till next time, guys, and of course, until the next year, game hard or die trying. See yas!